Genetics. The study of inherited DNA. Genetics focuses on the study of genes and how traits are passed from one generation to the next through DNA. It explores the structure, function, and transmission of genes. For example, eye color, height, and genetic disorders like cystic fibrosis are determined by specific genetic codes inherited from parents. Epigenetics. Changes in gene expression without altering DNA. Epigenetics examines how environmental factors and lifestyle choices influence gene activity without changing the DNA sequence. These changes can turn genes on or off, affecting how they are expressed. For instance, diet, stress, and exposure to toxins can influence whether certain genes are activated. Core difference. Sequence versus expression. The main difference lies in the focus. Genetics studies the actual DNA sequence and mutations, while epigenetics studies how external factors affect how genes are expressed without altering the sequence itself. Genetics is like the blueprint, while epigenetics is how the blueprint is interpreted and applied. Inheritance versus environmental influence. Genetic traits are directly inherited and remain relatively stable over time. In contrast, epigenetic changes can be influenced by external factors and may vary depending on an individual's experiences, though some epigenetic marks can be passed to offspring. Mechanisms in genetics and epigenetics. Genetics involves DNA mutations, insertions or deletions that affect an organism's traits. Epigenetics involves chemical modifications, such as DNA methylation or histone modification, which regulate gene activity without changing the DNA sequence. Impact on health and disease. Genetic mutations can cause hereditary diseases, like sickle cell anemia. Epigenetic changes can influence disease risk, such as how smoking increases the likelihood of developing cancer by altering gene expression related to cell growth and repair. Static versus dynamic nature. Genetics is relatively static, with DNA sequences remaining largely unchanged throughout an individual's life. Epigenetics, however, is dynamic, with gene expression potentially changing over time due to environmental and lifestyle factors. Applications in medicine. Genetics helps identify inherited disorders and develop gene-based therapies. Epigenetics offers insights into how lifestyle choices can modify disease risk, paving the way for personalized medicine that considers both genetic predispositions and environmental influences. Research and future directions. While genetics provides a foundation for understanding heredity, epigenetics offers a deeper understanding of how genes and the environment interact. The interplay between the two fields is advancing areas like cancer research, regenerative medicine, and aging studies. Key distinction. Fixed versus modifiable. Genetics is the fixed code written in DNA, while epigenetics involves the flexible instructions that regulate how that code is read and utilized, allowing organisms to adapt to their environments.